She relies on on a wheelchair to move around. She's a diabetic. She's a mother of 4, but she's as tough as nails. She's the Nkangala District Municipal Manager who says no to corruption, and for that she's been made to pay. You have enemies. That's why you are here. Those are the chilling words spoken by her abductors who kidnapped her and her driver for nearly a week. And she joins us now on the line. Margaret Skosana, the Municipal Manager of the Nkangala District Municipality in Mpumalanga. Firstly, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us this morning. How are you?
Greetings to the listeners of 702 FM. I am fine physically, but of course, emotionally, I'm still not yet there.
Talk to me about the day in which you and your driver were abducted. I mean, when these men approached you, I understand you thought they were police.
Yes, they impersonated themselves as police, but I actually suspected them. If you have watched the video, you would see that we stood there at the gate for some time because they were saying they were here to arrest me, but they don't want to do it in front of my employees. And I was insisting that I do not mind, come and arrest me in front of my employees. So we had an altercation for some time until one of them, who was at the back of their seat, came out with a rifle and went into our car. And then that's when we were instructed to drive.
So even as you got in the car with them, you knew you were in trouble?
Yeah, I could suspect that. Yes, they had police regalia, but they were closing themselves with those police masks. For me, it was a red flag because we're no longer wearing masks. Number 2, one police was wearing gloves. So for me, that was also a red flag to say, why would you wear a glove? And if they know the person that they're coming to arrest, they know that I can't fight them. So that for me, it gave me signs that this might not be police. But when the second guy came into our car with the rifle, then, things changed. We were then instructed, do this, do that. Hence, you will see the car then started moving forward. That's what they wanted, that they want us to move forward so that we can talk. Then once we moved forward, they instructed my driver to come out of the car to their car, and one of them came and drove my car, and we drove off.
And initially you thought they were going to your home?
Yes, that's what they said, that the police are raiding my home, so we are coming here to discuss. So he passed the street that goes to my home. Then when I asked him why, and then, he started saying, no, quiet, be quiet. We're trying to assist you here, be quiet. But yeah, you could see that, I thought it was being hijacked.
Sure. Margaret, where did they take you?
Well, I don't know, because we were then covered. They took us to the first house. And once it was dark, around 6, 7, they then took us to the second house, where we stayed from Thursday evening until Wednesday evening.
Sure. So you stayed in this one house for almost the entire time they'd abducted you?
Yeah. Yes.
So I understand. I mean, obviously, once you were at this house, you'd been blindfolded to get there. They asked you for your bank cards, and they tried to empty out your bank accounts.
They asked me for my bank cards and the PIN codes and all that. Yes, of course, the intention was to empty my bank cards, but for some strange reason, as yesterday visiting the banks, I did not check one account, but the other 2 accounts, nothing was done on them.
Margaret, I have to ask you this. Did they assault you? Were you harmed in any way?
Nothing at all. They did not. They did not harm us anyway. It's just that the first day, the first night, when we had to leave to the new home, they forced us to drink a lot of allergies. I think the intention was just to get us trousers so that we can sleep.
You didn't have your chair with you. You didn't have your medication. I understand all of that was left behind in your own vehicle. How did you get through that week without your medication and without your chair?
Yeah, without my chair, they would remember now you are stuck in this. You are allowed to sit in this one room and then you can't move around. So sitting, they had a mattress, so we were all the time on the mattress. And when I need to go to the toilet, I would call them, and then two men will come and carry me to the toilet.
Oh, that must have been rough for you.
Terrible. It's traumatic.
What was the
Very traumatic.
What was the lowest point for you, Margaret?
The lowest point for me is, these guys, when they took us, and I realized that, yeah, indeed, this is not hijacking. It's actually kidnapping. When they were dropping the car, I begged them and said, guys, I am on the wheelchair. You are leaving my wheelchair there. Please bring it with. Because I did not know the conditions that we'll find ourselves in. And they ignored me. And I kept on screaming to them to say, bring along my wheelchair. And yeah, I guess to them it was not a priority.
Did they threaten you? I mean, did you at any point fear for your life?
Of course. If you are in a place that you don't know, surrounded by guys with guns, you would fear for your life because you don't know what's the next step, So
Yeah.
you just, counting on God that, they will keep you as you are, and one day they will release you.
What did they tell you? Why were they doing this?
When we got to, the first day they asked for bank accounts, iCloud, passwords and all that. So I honestly thought, this is one of those where, you are kept, they take your money and they release you. But then when they moved us to the next house, I realized this is bigger than what we think it is. So we slept on Thursday night. We were drunk by those Alicex pills anyway. And Friday morning, the big boss came and he started saying, do I think I have enemies? I said to him, I don't know. A friend can be an enemy while you think is a friend. You may think somebody is an enemy while a person is actually not your enemy. Then he said to me, okay, you are in this situation because you've got enemies. So I said to him, okay.
Do you think this was linked to your job and the stance you've taken on corruption?
Well, I don't want to speculate now because it's still early. The investigators are investigating. There is a bit of signs that it might be linked to work, but I always say, let's allow investigation to proceed, and we hope, and stop speculation. We hope that the law will really take its course and we will all know the real intention of what has happened to us. What was the motive?
Were you aware there was a 5 million rand ransom for your release?
No, I was not aware. Remember, I was captive. And,
Yeah, they didn't tell you that. They weren't telling you that.
I didn't have access to. No, I did not have access to information there, and they did not tell me that.
Do you know why they let you go?
No, remember they don't explain to you. they just tell you what they want to tell you. So on Wednesday, they came around 12 midnight, because most of the time they were not there. We were left with the two men that were looking after us. So they just came and said, today, prepare, you going home. And this is the day that you can bath. So they allowed us to bath, and then from there started preparing, and they said they are waiting for the dawn for them to take us into the car for us to go home. And that is what has happened.
Margaret, how has this changed you? How has this affected you?
It has affected me so deeply. I do not trust our government security, I do not trust the police now. Even when we were found, that taxi man who went and told the police were patrolling in a Kumbi. When they came, they took us into the Kumbi to Deep Slot police station. As they were going around inside, I did not know that Deep Slot police station is deep in the township. So when they were moving around Deep Slot on those streets, it came into my mind that they might be taking us back to those kidnappers. So that's how affected I am when it comes to policing. I don't know how I would behave next time I'm being stopped by traffic officers on the road, whether I would stop or the picture will come to say, do not stop. That's how bad this thing is.
Well, Margaret, firstly, we thank you for sharing your story. No doubt your family has welcomed your return, as do all of us. And we thought it's important to highlight this story on a number of fronts. The police didn't crack this case. It was these kidnappers who let you go for whatever reason. As you say, investigations are still underway as to what was really behind all of it. Was it linked to some of the decisions you have made in trying to stop corruption? Was it something else? But this kind of thing is happening a little too frequently in South Africa, and that's why we wanted to highlight it this morning. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.